Hello everyone, my name is Nizor, and this is Updated Stats, your weekly gaming news show focusing on role-playing games. Coming up in the news, Spiders reveals a new trailer for Mars Warlords, more details revealed about The Witcher 3, Bethesda announcing the new game, Consortium has been funded, and a Gamasutra article about RPG class and skills. Spiders released a new trailer for their upcoming games Mars Warlords, a futuristic RPG. The medium-sized French developer previously did port the two Shadows games, participated in Oath for Men, and also developed Fairy Legends of Avalon. Mars Warlords is set in a post-apocalyptic colonized Mars, where the former four main water companies there became the big power player around that are now going at war with each other over remaining resources. The game seems to take a Total Recall Mad Max style with touches of mutation and cyberpunk here and there. You will play as Roy Temperance, a war prisoner that escaped from his prison with a young boy Innocence and are now facing the grim desolation of Mars colonies. The game will have all the goodie from a good RPG as in dialogue, choices with consequences, crafting, fights, companions, and apparently multiple endings and various ways to play the game. It is said to be only 15 hours long, but for a surprising price of only €20, which is rather unexpected considering the look of the game and the fact that it's an RPG, which are one of the most costly games to make. Release date are set this May for PC, PSN and Xbox Live later on. I think it looks promising. The fact that this will give us a rather short game time for an RPG should be counterbalanced with all the choices that we can make and other storylines that follow. The universe lore seems also intriguing, and they seem to be close to the type of game that The Witcher is. Speaking of The Witcher, Softpedia recently did an interview with Marek Zimak, gameplay producer at CD Projekt. He reveals that The Witcher 3 will have 3 epilogues with 36 endings possible. He also says that the fact that the game will be an open world, 35 times bigger than The Witcher 2, won't change the main idea that all your actions have consequences that you will feel and see throughout the game. New players won't need to have played the previous titles, but those who did will better understand or appreciate certain events and companions that you will meet throughout the game. It's a statement also said by his colleague, Jakub Roskovs, senior Quest designer who was interviewed by Coalition. He also states that the difficulty curve is going to be better than in The Witcher 2 after the feedback they had about it. Anyone remember dying a lot against that dragon in the beginning? Yeah, that kind of stuff. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt release date is to be announced for 2014. Bethesda announced a new game, The Evil Within, a new survival horror game developed by Tango Gameworks, the studio of Shinji Mikami, creator of Resident Evil. We saw this week several cryptic videos, and the fact that the Skyrim team announced that they were moving on Bethesda's next major project made some of us hope that it would have been for Fallout 4. But Pete Hines, vice president of Bethesda and in charge of PR, stated otherwise. It's a bummer, isn't it? With Skyrim Online coming in the near future, the prospect of a new Fallout game seems pretty far, except if Bethesda were to use another studio to develop it. I don't know who, maybe Obsidian? I mean, it's not like they've already worked with them on this franchise before. The sci-fi RPG from Interdimensional Games has been funded on Kickstarter. Intrigue Games that is playing with breaking the fourth wall where the characters in the game know that your avatar named Bishop is controlled by someone else. It also seems to be a really consequence-heavy game, and killing someone will change how people react to you and how the story will go on. Release is set in July this year, which is a nice change for a Kickstarter project. That all seems really interesting, and I am really curious about how the story is going to unfold and how having the fourth wall somehow breached will actually affect you. Michael Cook on Gamasutra wrote an article on a paper about a research dealing with the class and skill in RPG games. He's questioning if there can be another way that is not based on a predetermined class and ability like in World of Warcraft, or in predetermined skills that players tend to use to actually fit some archetypes. Like in Skyrim, where you maximize your dual one-handed weapons, archery and sneak, because you wanted to play like what is a typical rogue. The article talks about the experiment that was made by Alex Pantalev from the Department of Computer Science of the State University of New York. The experience was about two human players battling each other with their 4 characters. They were assigning to each one abilities generated by the computer based on a benefit-cost formula, like for example having an ability that adds 50 health points but subtracts 20 mana, or another ability that adds 3 armor but subtracts 2 speed. After each battle, each player could change the abilities for new ones that were generated by the computer according to the strategies players were using. This early paper shows that players were at first starting to use pretty regular strategy for an RPG, but started developing new ones that were going somewhere else than the traditional archetypal type of fighter, mage, cleric, rogue abilities. It's an interesting read and I'll put the link in the description box below. It was good to see new ideas about what it could be possible to do besides what we already have today. The possibility of having an RPG which abilities are evolving along with you without being predetermined seems endearing and might give ideas to actual developers. That is all for this week, thank you for watching and see you later.